It's finished. Newcastle United 1, Watford 0. Wow. I mean, I don't even know where that result came from, basically. I mean, we've been on a run of 10 without a win. I've just come out of the Ashley Out protests in the Milburn stand, which under the Milburn reception, which you could probably still hear in the background, which was observed very, very well. Lots of adrenaline pumping, lots of passion for the club, and a lot of hatred for Mike Ashley, done in the right way. But in the first half, we were absolutely getting blown away, and not just because it was that windy. We were awful. We gave away so many big chances in the first half. Watford had blown us away with their movement, with their passing, with their just their conviction, and we just didn't have any ideas really, and we struggled. I mean, a couple of times we got a couple of corners here and there, but in terms of like actual chances, few and far between. We had a free kick from Shelvey that was over, but the first half for us was characterised by Watford basically just hammering us, absolutely rinsing us at the back, and it was De La Feu's poor finishing that probably meant that they weren't 2-0 up at half time. They missed a lot of chances, and I think they in terms of the counter-attacking stuff, they were really, really impressive first half, but they just didn't have the finishes. They didn't have the cutting edge that they needed to see the game out. And I think if they go in at half time 2-0 up, even 1-0 up, we probably don't get back into that game at all. I think it was only the fact that they missed so many chances in the end that we kind of grew in stature, as they just had chance after chance after chance after chance and couldn't do anything with it. Couldn't breach Dubravka, and I thought Fernandez was excellent first half. I thought Kennedy put a real shift, and he was trying to do things on the wing as well. He was cutting inside. Muto was everywhere. I mean, sometimes it didn't always pay off for him, but he was really running himself into the ground for the good of the team, and I thought Muto was excellent. But sadly, that first half was characterised by a number of missed chances for them and injuries to us. So Muto pulled himself chasing after the ball. He was doing a lot of high pressing. He injured himself, so on came Perez. I mean, it was with Rondon, Muto up front, we're kind of thinking, this is kind of the team we should have started the season with. It really should have been, but we've got to this point where Rondon's actually ready to start games and play the full 90 minutes. But Muto got injured, and on came Perez, who put himself about a bit, and first half. Then we had Shelvey. This was in the second half. Shelvey got a knock to the back of his calf. Tried to run it off, didn't happen, and he had to come off for Key. And it was almost like those changes kind of made the difference. At half time, Lascelles, who didn't get booed, rightfully. I was his biggest critic in the week, and I criticised what he said, and rightfully so, because he shouldn't have said absolutely daft comments. Really naive, I think. But the fans were on side. He put in a good shift. He was committed, fully committed, but again maybe a little bit too committed. And he ended up coming off at half time, possibly holding his shoulder, something. I don't know quite what the injury was there. I've only just come out of the game myself, so I don't know. But it got to the point where after 50 minutes, so Shea came on for Lascelles, and after 50 minutes we'd made all three subs, so what we had, we was kind of stuck with really. And as we started to grow in stature a bit, I mean, they wasted about 5 really clear-cut chances in the game, and just they couldn't manage it. In the second half, they even hit the bar. They had a couple of one-on-ones, as I said, in trying to breach us in the first half. De La Feu just skewed it and just screwed every shot he had. It was, I mean, he's very indicative of how Watford are. Him and Pereira, who can be, when they're on their game, they're absolutely class, and they can tear any team in the Premier League apart, like they did last week. Both of them were amazing, but then this week, as Watford can be, massively inconsistent, and can't seem to finish the game off, and they couldn't. So I think we had like 5 shots in the first half and 1 on target. And in the second half we had 5 shots on target. 5 shots and then 1 on target. So stats wise, attacking wise, are similar, identical. However, the manner of how we went about our chances in the second half and the control that we gained in the second half pulls apart. I mean, I think Watford had about 13, 12 shots in the first half, but they only had 3 in the second half. They only managed 1 shot on target all game, and that cost them. That absolutely cost them. I thought Fernandes was having a really good game at the back before, certainly in the first half, but then when Cher came on, the pair of them, I thought were absolutely brilliant, winning everything. They're just 2 very solid guys and will commit to tackles. They don't shirk anything, and the physicality that Watford have and can have going into the final third, that Isaac's success is built like an absolute fridge, and they were able to have him under control. And what I was really impressed about Kennedy today, absolutely superb at both ends of the pitch. So he was doing all the defensive mucky work, that jockeying and holding up play for them. So he was doing all of that work, but then he was doing all his dribbles as well and trying to make things happen in the final third as well. And obviously he looked really tasty. And the best moment, the key moment for me for Kennedy, who I'll give man of the match to, because he was honestly unbelievable, was where we had a corner and he had won it. He was a big part of why he won it. And he started holding the back of his thigh, and I was thinking, Christ, man, don't get injured, because we've got no subs left, right? We'd already lost Shelvey, Lascelles, and Shelvey, Lascelles, and Muto. And so he pulled his shorts up because he was kind of feeling it on the back of his muscles. Anyway, I was thinking, Christ, is he going to have to come off here? We can't afford him to go off. But he sort of gingerly went to the end of the area where he's supposed to go for the corners. They counter-attack and broke, and almost destroyed us. Great play on the right-hand side. Don't know if it was Success or it was Decore, but basically we'd pulled 2 defenders across, ball squared. I mean, it's a goal. It's a goal all day. And Kennedy's run from the Watford box, he's run the length of the pitch on an injury, and he's probably got a knock. He's not 100% fit at this point. He's run the other end of the pitch, and he's slid in, and he's made probably a match-saving tackle, because I think if they equalise, they go on and dominate, and we lose. The crowd goes, and we don't win that game at all. So absolutely unbelievable effort from Kennedy. And you could see he was really thriving on the noise and the encouragement, and that's what the crowd got today. There's a nice variation of chance, much better atmosphere here than against Brighton, and we actually dominated against Brighton. So you'd think there'd be more reason for us to be, but I think the goal came sort of probably around the hour mark, sort of midway through the second half, and it was a bit of. I mean, key at this point was really sort of making the game take over. He was the metronome, he was the engine, he was dictating play, he was in control. The composure of that fella is unbelievable. Really, really impressive. So we got a free kick on the edge, on the corner of their box, on the left-hand side of you facing the goal. Richie's over it, and Key's over it, and I've said it next to us. I'm just thinking, Key's got a really good delivery. So he just flights it over. And I'm absolutely in line with where Perez just leaped in, nodded it over the keeper, and it's gone in 1-0, and the place erupted. And it's probably, I mean, at that point, we almost hadn't battled as much in terms of the whole game perspective. So it's almost like we sort of, massively sort of didn't deserve that lead when we got it. But hell, we fought to hold on to it. Really, really impressive from everybody there. And Rondon, I think, did a lot of unsung work today. You might think, well, he wasn't really involved. Where was he? But he was. His strength is holding up. He was a presence, and he caused their defenders problems. He made them think. And I think if it's Perez and Muto up front, they just knock him off the ball dead easy. One thing I will say, for the linesman on our side, I'm on the east stand, he was absolutely appalling, didn't give us anything. He was missing clear fouls. He was missing handballs from them. I mean, he was missing clear throw-ins to us. I mean, it's pales in insignificance now. It doesn't matter. But I just thought he had a very, very poor game. Hey, really funny. There's a lad sitting next to me, some guy, and he was one of these who just. I mean, I'm a bit of a gobshite anyway, but he's one of these who likes to just basically manage. He's a proper touchline manager from the stands, and he's going, close him down, go for the block, stay on your feet, tackle, no tackle. He said, tackle him, no tackles within the same 5 seconds. Make your mind up, fella. Is it tackles or is it no tackles? His other favourite one was wake up, insert Newcastle player's name. So it's like, wake up Shelby, and Shelby had actually had a quite a good game up to that point. And about the 80th minute, he goes, wake up Kennedy. I'm like, are you fucking for real? Kennedy's the best player on the park. Wake up. You wake up. He's clearly watching a different game. So, I mean, and the best line was, what was it? Win the ball, you win the game. And he said it a few times. Good sound. Win the ball, you win the game. See? And every time, like, Newcastle tried to do something like, did something positive, like closing down or something, he was almost like taking credit for it. He's going, so that they'd close it down and you'd be like, yeah, that's it. See, dead easy. See, it's almost like saying, I told you this would work. And he can't criticise him, just like, tell you what, fella, let Rafa do his job. Word on Rafa after this week, I thought he was brilliant. I think the way he made those changes work in the second half, and the encouragement he would have given the team, we were at half time, we should have been down, and we should have probably lost that game in that moment, but we didn't, and that's down to Rafa. His encouragement, his team talk, and the way he was able to manage the integration of 3 subs after 50 minutes. Absolute genius. He's an absolute genius. He deserves every point. You can see how happy he was. He was on the pitch, clapping. He was giving Kennedy a massive round of applause as well. He was giving him a big hug. Rafa was very keen to go to his players. He was very quick to go to the fans. And what a day! 3 points out of nowhere. And you know, a few people were asking me at the start of the day, like, what do you think is going to happen? And you know what? I said I sort of fancy us today because Watford can be inconsistent. And when you go on a run like ours with no win in 10, we are going to win at some point, and we have. But when we are going to win, it's probably going to catch everyone off guard. It's going to be at a time that you kind of least expected. And even at half time, it seemed fanciful that we even got out of there with a point. But as it happens, Perez's lovely flicked header is enough to seal the game. It was a beautiful goal, in fairness, with what was a very scrappy game. It got a bit tasty towards the end. A few yellow cards flying in. There was a possible stamp. Was it possibly on Yedlin? Over on the far side. Again, I wasn't close to it. I haven't seen any replays. I don't know what everyone's saying about it on Twitter. So I don't know if there was a stamp. But a big melee ensued. Holibas came right in. When he was obviously some of the Watford, I think it was Pereira, was getting some pelters from Newcastle players, and then big Fabian Schär just with this massive chest just like went in on Holibas, and it was just carnage for a little bit. And I mean, at this point, I was loving it because there was only a few minutes left. Their heads had gone. They had an elbow in our face as well in the last couple of minutes, which could have seen more than a yellow. I thought largely the referee did all right. His linesman was pretty shit though. But what a day! It's so important to kick off with a home win, and it's 2 back-to-back clean sheets, which those are the kind of stats that we kind of forget about. But we've had back-to-back clean sheets now, and that's something to absolutely build on. I'm absolutely buzzing, and I hope everyone has a really bloody good night. And hopefully for once we might not be bottom of the match of the day. Running order table, which we usually are. We're usually last, aren't we? So, I'm absolutely buzzing for 3 points, which is why I thought I'd do a video straight away. There's a few, like I say, there was a Magpie protest at the Milburn reception straight after the game. People channeling that positive energy. There was some Rafa chants as well. There was some positive Newcastle chants, but there's also a lot of Matt Ashley out, because even though we've won a game, let's not forget that Mike Ashley's a major problem, and he still needs to go. One result doesn't change anything. It's much bigger than that. I've been Adam of the 2 Network. This has been a match report live from St James's Park. Please subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. Apply for notifications. Please like the video and tell your friends and share it. If you listen to this on iTunes or SoundCloud, please give us a like. Please give us a subscribe there as well. Follow us on Facebook at The 2 Network 1892, and of course we're on Twitter at The 2 Network. I've been Adam. We've won 1-0. First win of the season. First win since May when we smashed Chelsea 3-0. What a day, man. Absolutely buzzing. Let's go and see some fireworks. Bye-zy-bye.